Hello, it's me, Annalisa, with My Spiritual Friend, and I'm back. It's Sunday, July 3rd. I hope everybody's well. Okay, it's a little warm in this room, so how is everyone? Who's here? I've got Charlie Girl. I have you, and then I have Devery on the list. And I will check if anybody else made payments. I got some really cool feedback from someone who joined a psychic development circle last year in the beginning of the year. She sent me an email. It was very cool. She was like, you got 3. So let me preface this. So if you've never been in a circle, so you know, it's not me lecturing. I don't think lecturing really helps when you need to put your things into practice. So I give some basic rules and some basic ideas, and we do meditations, and you really are just jumping into it. And you give each other messages, right? That's how you practice. I mean, that's how you get better at something, by practicing it, right? So I guess I had given her, she'd asked about love to the group, and I had given her some information. And it was really cool because, as she said, there was several things. He had rosy cheeks, and I kept seeing boots, and she's like, he wears these boots with all of his outfits. And then there was something about his stomach. I thought maybe it was reflux or had some kind of stomach issues. And he had some sort of cancer that would have caused pain in the stomach and had a Whipple, she said, or something like that. But I just thought it was really cool. And she's like, I don't know if you like this kind of feedback. I love feedback. I love validations. As much as I do this and as confident as I am in my intuition, especially the loved ones, I'm always like, when people are like, what's it going to be like? What's it? All of that stuff. I like validations. Anyway, so who's here? Say hello if you're here. Hit the like button. Share me with your friends. Hi, Joelle. Hey, Rathka. I think you might have been in that circle. I can't remember. I won't mention any names because I asked permission if I could share the email and like black out, personal identifiers and stuff like that. And she didn't respond back. So hi, Debbie. Okay, so the 4 of you are here. It might be a quiet day, just given that it's a holiday weekend here. Okay, so Debbie, what's your question? You missed the first couple of minutes. Oh, I was just mentioning that I got some feedback from one of the people who had been in the circle, in one of the psychic development circles. So, and she had asked about a guy, like when love would come in and all that. And she asked, what would he be like? And I guess I described some things. I mentioned boots, that I just kept seeing boots, and he wears these boots all the time, like with everything. I'm just opening up my little Scribble Dibble app that I like to scribble notes on. Okay. So, Debbie, what's your question? You were up, and then Charlie Girl is up. Either or, you can do it either way. Whoever just wants to write your question is fine. Oh, Joelle, I have your payment too for 2 questions. You're very excited and nervous and anxious, and those are all very normal emotions surrounding surgery. I will absolutely pray for you. Can you tell me what time? I'm going to put a note in. I'll put it in with my calendar. Will you tell me what time and day the thing is, and I'll send energy out at that time? Does that work for you? And then here, tell me now, because I'm going to put it in my phone so it sends me a reminder. Okay, it's 8 a.m. on Tuesday. All right, I will send a reminder. Every surgery. Wait, July 4th? It's on Tuesday, July 4th? Like a holiday? I know, I just assume nobody works. Yes, okay, perfect. Just wanted to make sure I was right on that. Okay. Let me make sure I have a reminder on it. Mhm. Okay, done. Great. Okay, now I'll look at it and see will it go smoothly. They were kind of joking and punning, like, of course it's smoothing things up. So I feel like there might be just a slight delay in getting it started and nothing major. I feel like just they have a little bit harder of time starting an IV on you. Um, like I feel like your veins don't pop out quite as like well. I had so when my oldest had her tonsils and adenoids out, she was little. I had a really cool spiritual experience with her. I saw her basically walk out with an angel, like an astral projection. And okay, so I feel like that might just be a little bit of a delay in that. Um, like, so here's what it is. It feels like they may prefer to put it in your hand or your wrist or something. I don't know what it is, but it's like, but then they have to put it somewhere else. But it'll be fine. Don't worry. Um, it's funny. I feel like the anesthesiologist may try it first, and then like either a nurse anesthetist or a nurse will end up getting it. Um, and then I feel once that's done, it's fine. Everything's like perfect. I do feel like you might be a little bit more sore than you know you're gonna be sore and uncomfortable, but I just feel like it might be a little bit more than you anticipated. Just, sometimes you're like, "Well, I expected to be sore," but like, "Okay, that I didn't expect." And I just keep seeing, like, using ice packs. That seems to somehow feel more comfortable than, like, taking your pain medication. This is a nurse perspective, this isn't the psychic part, but, I always told my patients, so if they tell you you can have your PRN meds every 4 to 6 hours, when you like, if you're at that 4 hours and it may not be, like, really bad, but you start to feel a little uncomfortable, take your pain medication then. Don't wait till it really hurts because then you're gonna always be chasing your pain. Um, and then I feel like after, like, 2 days, you'd be able to switch over to not need a narcotic, or you could just do a little bit of, I don't think you can do ibuprofen. I feel like it'd have to be Tylenol. And I don't know why. I feel like maybe they're worried about more bruising if you do ibuprofen. So ibuprofen is an antiplatelet, which can cause like a little bit of bleeding. So it just feels like, yeah. So it just feels like that. But then I feel like the nursing part of it is like it just feels like adding some ice packs or something would take the edge off a little bit. So there's like a lot of stuff that I learned when I did postpartum care as a nurse, where there's just a lot of things you can do for pain that's not medication related. Um, so I'm sure that they've done like a CBC, and a BMP and stuff like labs before you go have this, just because that's pretty typical. So as long as your platelet count is okay, they may be okay with it. I would just double check with them. Some doctors don't think about it because we remember stopping a few OBs and being like, we can't send her home on ibuprofen. Her platelet count's low. Um, and they'd have to be like, oh. One of them was so arrogant. He was like, it's fine. And we're like, no, call the pharmacist. That's the pharmacist. You really can't. Um, I don't know. It just feels like they may not because of bruising. I have no idea though. I don't know all of that. I feel like also asking them if you can use arnica. Um, And then I feel like down the road, once all the swelling and stuff is gone, you're really, really happy with the results. I feel like this gives you like a whole new sense of like self and like drive to like get out and do more and walking. I just feel like walking prouder. And like because of it, it's like making me want to make healthier choices. But I feel like it's like really good. You're going to be very happy with the results. And I feel like your doctor is really nice. Like I feel like he's got a really nice bedside manner. At least I think it's a him. I see a male doctor. Okay. Dr. Pittman. Hey, that's one of my doctor's last names. And she has a really good bedside manner. Okay. You're very welcome. I hope everything else is going better now for you too. The light from my iPad's like uplighting. Surprise. Charlie girl, did you had a question? And then I got Joelle for 2, and I will check my other PayPal. So I don't know, is anybody watching, the new Sex in the City? Last season I thought was terrible, and I was like, ugh, they should not have brought this back. This season is better. Oh, sorry, that's really loud. I'm gonna just make that a little quieter. I'm I can't see what you guys are writing yet. So I'll do it in a minute. Okay. I've had a bad few days with my upstairs neighbor, working on manifesting that we move out, but it's been difficult to do recent intense and loud arguing they do. You still see them moving. Yeah. And there's also something about 3 weeks. So I don't think that they're moving out in 3 weeks, but there's something that changes in 3 weeks. I'm going to say this too. Having lived in apartments myself, I lived in an apartment in college where the girl that lived below us, I don't know that they were married, but they had children together. And she was young. I mean, she was older than us, but still pretty young. And they had babies, and we called the cops on them for domestic stuff. So if it's really loud, you can always do that and just say like they're really fighting. I'm concerned. Could you do a well check? Um, I keep hearing like I hear the fighting, but I hear like things like sliding around on the floor, chairs or something out from a table and sliding around on the floor. So here's what I'm going to say though, just in asking that question when you're doing manifesting, just in asking like, is this still going to happen? That means there's some room for doubt there, which isn't always what we want to hear when we're doing manifesting, but maybe it is because it'll help you out. So it just feels like if you I learned another technique yesterday. Like I've a couple different techniques for manifesting has come across. So I've known about the whisper technique, but I don't know if I've talked to you about that. But yeah, she does that. Okay, because it's like I just kept hearing that. So something's going to shift in 3 weeks, but I don't know if it's that one of them moves out. It's just something, but I don't think it's totally done. That's the feeling. But there's something about 3 weeks away. So there's the whisper technique where imagine, I don't know if you know what she looks like, but imagine like whispering in her ear, like, this isn't a good place for you. It's time to move out. All those things you can do. Or just even like, you should be quieter and more respectful of your neighbors or find peace in your life. That's a nice way to do it because that's not harming you, not harming them. And it's, um, helping you. The other thing you can do is the I'm sure method. I saw this and I was like, oh, that's actually makes sense. It's like when I say, oh, of course this is going to happen. Of course this is right. Or you can say, I'm certain. I don't know why I'm certain feels better for me. So it's, oh, I'm certain they moved out back in, and then say September of 2023. I'm certain they're moving. I'm certain, um, my life is more calm. I'm certain, like just going into, instead of like, just it's I'm certain. I don't know why it just adds like, or I'm sure. Doesn't matter, either one, whatever works for you, right? Mm. Deborah, you know what I was thinking about is that arnica is really good for bruising too. So, like, given what you're having done, the procedure you're having done, like that might actually be a really great topical thing. So, I would maybe even just pick it up. I would pick. So they come in arnica. You can get it at CVS. There's arnica cream, arnica gel, ointment. Um, Either do the cream or the gel. The gel might spread easier. So if you're tender and sore in that area, I know that you're probably going to be wrapped for a little bit, but as you are able to take that wrapping off, I think you might be. I don't know. I'm assuming this. This is all assumptions. I know nothing about this procedure. I'm really not much, but I'm assuming that they wrap you for some reason. But just buy it so you have it handy. Plus, it's great for like bruises and sore muscles and everything else. It's like good to have around, and it's homeopathic, and it actually works. Um, and again, they sell it in the first aid section at CVS, or no, I don't know if they have it at Walgreens. I'm sure they have it at Walgreens or whatever's close to you. Rite Aid, Duane Reade. I don't think they have Duane Reade in Atlanta. But I just feel like that would be really helpful to have anyway, and then you can ask them about it. Like, I think you'll probably have somebody with you to bring you home. But you can ask them about it before you go to sleep, or have whoever's with you ask them about it when they're getting your discharge instructions. Because if you're a little out of it, it's better. It's always good to have somebody with you for your discharge instructions. Okay, enough of that. So I'm sure, and this would be good for any of you for any of the things like you're trying to, it's like, oh, I'm sure this exercise I'm doing is making me healthier, especially like when we're going through something where you have to wait for results. I don't know, it's a good thing. Also, something I'm learning, because I like to share things. And then Joelle, if you want to ask your questions, this is not psychic. This is just because, I'm like always doing like health related like stuff. So I've been looking at like insulin resistance lately, and like about a month ago or whatever, I started taking inositol. Not even a month ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. Myo and Decairo inositol in the morning, at night. It's supposed to help with insulin resistance and also your cholesterol. It's like there's studies on it. It's like fantastic for us, so women. So I take it in the morning, at night, but then, and I've always like used my hair fallout as a gauge of where I'm at. I know that sounds really weird, but I was losing a ton of hair. I had I don't even have it anymore. So it's crazy. My hair is really growing back in, but I had a ton of hair fallout, and like tired. I had all these different things going on. So I'm not tired anymore at all, but I added in walking after meals just for 10 minutes. And I literally just started 2 days ago, but my hair fallout decreased with that as well. So if you're into looking at insulin resistance, and it just has to be within 90 minutes of eating. So that makes it really doable, especially if you're like, well, I have to go do this. I can't do it right after I eat. Or if you're like me, when you hear something, you're like, oh, it has to be right after. And when somebody was like, oh, it could just be within 90 minutes, I'm like, oh, like it makes it more doable. Anyway, just mentioning it for health reasons and all of that stuff. Okay. So, Joelle, I have a work-related collaboration in process. What if, wait, hang on, to know what and if I should focus on one thing or if it's possible that I will be able to manage them all. So the first thing I'm asking them is kind of looking at your partner that you're collaborating with or what you're doing. And I feel like they're a good worker. I feel like they are really great at following up and they're really great at pulling their weight. So like, 'cause sometimes you can collaborate with somebody and you're like, hello, I need the feedback on this. And they like take forever or they're a little flaky. And I feel like they're sort of on top of stuff. Hi, Gia. Okay, I'll check. So I feel like are there 3 parts to this? Because I said parts like I still live in Wisconsin. 3 parts. I asked that because I just feel like I feel like I'm focusing on one at first, but then it doesn't mean I don't get to all of it. It just feels like it's like done in sections. You have 3 persons possibly to work with. Okay, perfect. So I feel like I'm doing it in sections, like, but it doesn't mean I don't get to all of it. It's just like this part comes first. It just feels like it has to be in order. You'll be fine. And I actually feel like these will lead to other collaborations or other jobs or other clients or whatever. So sorry. I know I always play with my hair on here, but it's because I'm only staring at myself the whole time. So I don't have like when I kind of look at it, I'm like, oh, that's weird. Yeah. So I keep feeling like it's you're gonna get more work from us. I still have a little bit of this cough. It's really annoying. It is what it is. Okay. All right, Gia, I got you. What's your other question? Second is about my dog. She hasn't been feeling well lately. What I should be working. Tell me your dog's name. This is gonna sound weird, but can you send me on Insta? Can you send me a picture of her? Oh, I don't know. Hang on. So I turned my phone on Do Not Disturb so nobody has to listen to the dings and bangs and bops and bizzles. I don't know if they're really bizzles, but do you know what I think is weird? Because I know Rothko, you pay me on. I think it's weird when I didn't get it yet. Unless you paid me on PayPal. I think it's weird when people post who they're paying what on Venmo. Like, friend, it's okay to keep stuff private. It's okay. I don't really care who you're paying for food or parties. Oh, my PayPal. Okay. Then let me check the PayPal. I got you. It went through. Okay. So let me add Gia and Rothka. Okay, I got it. It's just for because I muted it, so it's just didn't. Now I'm checking 3 places. Okay, so then I'm gonna add Gia. So Joelle, I got your second question. Hold on. Will you send me a picture of your puppy on Instagram? Only because I just like your dance. So last night it was really funny. So my friend who I went out to California and I stayed at her house and I took care of her dog. I hadn't heard her in a little bit. She's like busy, whatever. She's a mom. She has tons of stuff. Oh, it's a Goldie. Um, um, all of a sudden I was like, her dog like popped in. Like I was doing something and then I just kept feeling her dog so strongly. I was doing like manifesting work and her dog came in so strongly and I was like, okay. So I was like, weird thing. How's your buddy doing? He's an older dog. And I was like, I keep feeling him kind of around me. I was like, no rush in answering. But apparently they had done a long road trip and he was angry because he was in the car longer than needed. Well, she looks mostly Goldie. So I'm taking it. Okay, let me. Hmm. Wait, what was I right about, Rathka? Um. Okay, I'm just trying to find her name now. Kaleo? Kaleo? Oh. Oh, Venmo history being public. It's just weird. I don't know. Keep that shit to yourself. I just always feel like the more you put out there, mm, Kayliu. Keep Kayliu. Okay. Thank you. Kayliu. Okay. So I feel like her stomach is a little bit off. Is she sneezing a lot? Because I just feel like I'm not moving air a lot through my nose. She may have a little bit of a headache. She is sneezing a lot. She may have a little bit of a headache. So I know this is strange, but I mean, obviously go to the vet. Like they can like look at it and figure it out. But she may have like a little virus, but I feel like and her stomach issues, her poop was bad. Okay. It just feels her stomach feels sour to me. Like it just doesn't feel comfortable. So you tell you with when dogs aren't feeling well, like white rice and white meat, ground chicken. If you do ground chicken and mix it with white rice, is really good to help settle her stomach. But I also just feel like maybe rubbing her neck and stuff, but maybe take her to the vet if you can. But I just feel like a little bit of a headache with her. And then the sneezing, she might have just a little virus, but I don't know enough about vet medicine. I know, basic how to keep them comfortable and all that. Um, but feeding her really like a really easy digestible diet. Can you feed dogs bananas? I don't know why I just got bananas as being important. Hey, ponies can eat bananas. Yes, in moderation. It might help her settle her tummy. I know that sounds weird, but like brat diet for people like bananas, rice, applesauce, toast. Um, don't do the toast, but I just feel like maybe adding some bananas in. She's going to be okay. I just feel like it's a few days and it should pass, but I just always feel like always better, and this is something I learned in medicine, is always better to err on the side of caution. I always tell people, like when I worked in the ER for a very short time, I'm not an ER nurse. I like continuity of care. I like knowing that like I can't tell how many times I would send patients up and I'd be like, see you later, good luck. You don't know if they live or die or anything like that. And I like the story. So, but oh fuck, I forgot my story. What I was gonna say. So, where I would say to patients, like, they would drive themselves in, they're like, "I'm having chest pain." I'm like, "Why did you drive yourself in? Like, go to the doc," like, or like, "Oh, I've been feeling terrible for 14 years now." It's like, well, why did you wait? Like, why didn't you, we would rather, well, I didn't want them to tell me nothing was wrong with me. I'm like, I would rather have you walk in here and say, I feel terrible, and be like, you're good. Here's this, no problem. It's not an issue than say like, holy shit, if you would have gotten some help earlier, we could have like saved your life and now we can't. That kind of thing. I I wouldn't like, I feel like, don't really worry about her. I just feel like there might be some tight muscles in here that's causing this. And I feel like it's on this side. So just watch her, but I would bring her in. Um it might be just a little viral thing, but still it's better to err on the side of caution, especially if they're not going to be able to say, oh, she has a headache, but maybe they'll see something else. I don't know. I didn't feel anything else. Um, but also if it's viral or some kind of little bacterial thing, they can give her, maybe they can give her something for it. I don't know. Or maybe they'll know that there's a virus going around. This is how it runs its course. That also gives you a peace of mind too. I don't know. You're very welcome. Okay. Thank you for trusting me. And your doggy's super cute. Y'all, I love animals. I'm I loved them so much when I was little, and I forgot how much I love them. I know that sounds weird, but like watching those pets, like where they use the buttons to talk. And then and then also like the random guy on TikTok. I don't know if you watch TikTok, but he's like, "Oh, a cat, when you're saying come here, a cat, you say "Meow, meow." And like the cats come. I am fascinated by that. So anyway, okay. And I adore my bunny. And oh my god, y'all, this is the coolest thing. Yesterday, and then I swear I'll stop talking. But I mean, I won't stop talking, but you know what I mean. My bunny was like kind of going in the opposite direction of me. I live in a ranch with like an open concept at the living room, dining room, and kitchen. And she was hopping from the dining room into the living room area, and I was like, "Come here, Coco Bunny," and she stopped and turned around and she came to me. I've never had her do that before. It was the coolest thing. We've had her for 2 years. She doesn't like, she'll come to me if I'm on the floor, but I wasn't on the floor. I was sitting in a chair, and I just thought that was really cool. Anyway, that's my excitement. Okay, so Gia, if you want to ask, and then Rothka, if you want to ask. Sorry. It's almost like I don't talk to people in my regular life, but I kind of do. Oh, another fun thing you could try. Okay, well, I'm like, okay, I was thinking about taking a break from pursuing nursing and go to esthetician school in the fall to get a better income for now. It's only a 5 months course. Do you see that being a good idea? So I think the last time you asked me this, because I do remember this, because that's a unique combination, I felt like you'll have both. But I don't feel like, oh, no, don't do that. I feel like, yeah. I do feel like you'll have like if you take the break from nursing, I feel like you're gonna have a year break from nursing. I don't feel like it's just gonna be the 5 months. And I feel that because I feel like you start working, and then you decide to go back. Um, I will say this: money's not as good an esthetician as it is in nursing. I will also say, I mean, nursing's, I don't want to say like it's hard, because I think that's such a misnomer. I don't think it's necessarily hard as it is, it's a lot of work and a lot of dedication. I don't think many things are really hard in life until, like, I mean, like my daughter was like, "Have you ever seen people die, or have you had your patients die?" And we started kind of talking about that a little bit. And yes, I have. And yes, I have. And that stuff's hard. But like the work itself, that's not that. It's the emotional stuff that's harder than anything. It's tiring, but it's not. impossible. Yes. I don't know. But nursing school is a lot of work. But also remember this, you will never have to do a care plan again after nursing school. That is all, like they have you do a million care plans, and the med-surg ones are the worst. And they have you look up all of your meds before you see a patient. But remember that you were like, I think they started doing something similar to care plans when I was leaving the NICU to go do travel nursing. But they've probably got it more computerized now than they did before, because before we were still like half handwritten in a chart and half. And now I'm pretty sure most things are, because this has now been a long time, almost 20 years since I left since I've been in New Jersey, almost 20 years since I left the NICU. But most things are probably all click, 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 click in the computer now. So the mental health, and it even depends on like what area you're in. So acute care is a lot more emotional. I did long-term pediatric nursing as a travel nurse, and that was a lot of physical labor. But you're seeing like their residents, they're not. And I looked at them differently, and now I realized, I was like, that was really short-sighted of me. Like I looked at them as my patients because I came from acute care instead of like their residents. This is their home. That stuff is so much more routine. It's like working in a nursing home. And I mean, there was a lot of really sad stories. But it's different. And then clinic work is not as much mental. It's just, you see a lot of the same stuff over and over. And if you use your esthetician and nursing and went and worked for a dermatology, a derm doctor, or a plastics doctor, it probably isn't that stressful. So, okay, I'm just going to say that. And you have better hours because they don't, they're not really on call. I mean, they might be on call if he's doing surgery, but the nurses probably aren't. And you probably don't work weekends or holidays. So there you go. And that's that. And even if you work a holiday like a July 4th or whatever in a clinic, they usually close early. It's super quiet. People aren't booking heavily on that day. Anyway. Okay. All right. So I don't see it as being a bad. So I just kind of look at, if she does this, what do we see? Because it's like, there's not a should thing we should do in life, right? It's just all options and choices. And then I'm going to give you I'm going to do this last, I've got Rothka, and then I don't know if anybody else has signed up. And then I'm going to give you guys a quick tip on, at least I think if I can remember what I was going to give you the tip on. Oh, I got Mariana here too. So I'm going to give you guys a quick tip. Okay, so Rothka, if you want to go, and then I'll do Mariana. And I'll try and remember what I was going to share with you. Oh, I know what it was. Let me just write down my notes so I remember. 24-hour request. Okay. Okay, so Rothka, what's your question? And I'm eating a lot of cough drops just because. I love a general reading and may ask another question later. Okie doke. So I asked you, what do you need to know in this moment? I just sort of visualized and tried to connect it with your energy. And I feel a lot of anxiety, and it sort of sits more in my solar plexus area. So people carry anxiety in two places for me that I've noticed. They carry it in their chest or they carry it in their stomach. And chest would always feel like, I don't know, it just feels different. And I just feel like you really carry yours in your stomach. Um, I feel like I'm in a box. Does that make sense when I say that? Like I feel like I'm boxed in, I can't move. I I can't see outside of everything. Feeling very limited in my ability to move and do things. And I don't like, so I'm like, is something going on in the marriage? I'm like, no, I don't feel like that. And I don't necessarily feel like you may be thinking this because you're overseas right now and it feels like, that it's location, a geographical thing, and it's not. Um, some of this is self-imposed and a lot of it is I know people hate hearing this, but there's something connected astrologically to this. So if you look at your planets, there may be something transiting or something conjunct or whatever. I'm just learning some of the things are starting to make sense. Um, I don't know a ton about astrology. I definitely believe there's something to it because when I've done co-readings with Tony, um, he's like, "Oh yeah, that's in the chart right here." Um, so then I asked, like, "Well, how do you move through this?" And I heard time, but I also feel like there's a ripple effect coming out of it. Like you're going to have something happen. That sense, because I saw what when you look at if you see an explosion and you see like the ripple wave. So it doesn't look like to me like when you drop a rock in the water, it literally looks like the energetic wave come out of it. So that feels like to me something energetically will shift for you. So it's not a physical event that occurs. It's just something energetically will shift for you. They're talking a lot about stop putting the pressure on yourself to be ready or to be right or to be anything. Um, it's while you have done a really great job of accepting yourself and really just being who you are, I still feel like, and this is, I bet this comes up on your chart too, where it says something like about like one of your struggles in life. And I don't know the houses enough to be like, oh, look for this here because I don't know shit about it. But I bet that there's something there where it talks about like that's your life thing is to like get over the idea of how you have to be and how people view you and society views you and sort of like stepping into like your own. Um, do you know your rising sign? Are you an Aries rising? It's metaphorical. Definitely not a family situation. It definitely doesn't. That's why I said it feels more energetic than it does feel like an actual physical event that happens. Oh, actually feeling boxed in. Um, I don't know. It's like I feel it like I'm in a box. So it can actually be, but I don't think you're actually physically, but there's a component to it, you being across in another country and you're thinking this is what it is, but it feels like it's a little bit that, but it's also a lot. Um, this astrological thing that's going on. You're a Leo rising. So your rising sign is what your, oh my God, that makes sense, Lovey. Your rising sign is what you're supposed to learn to step into and be comfortable with. And what are Leos? But the flashy, put yourself out there. Everybody's going to see you, life of the party, like attention, attention, attention. Lady, lady. Sorry. Yeah. This is it. That's like your whole life story. I mean, when I'm right, you know? There is probably something that's crossing your Leo rising or whatever. Like there's probably something that's like creating that little bit more of that like struggle. Maybe it's Pluto where it's I think Pluto or Saturn, one of them constricts, but I don't think that Saturn's there. What's planets transiting Leo? What? Wait a second. What is this? I see Saturn there. That might be part of your problem. 2023 Leo planetary transit. This might not be what I'm looking for. I don't know. Look up planets transiting Leo and figure out that might be what it is, and that just might be like a timing thing, and that's when it steps out. Okay. So first of all, Rothka has an amazing podcast, and if she wants to share it here, she can. But if she wants to stay anonymous, then don't do it, girl. But I don't know why I'm talking that way. The podcast has had blowout download numbers. I'm so excited for you for the last episode, and I started having anxiety dreams about not being prepared for the publicity and attention. Okay. First of all, there's a couple things you can do with that. I'm certain it's safe for me to be seen, valued, heard, and out in public. I'm certain I'm safe for this. I understand, especially with the shit that's going on with the Supreme Court right now. I know that I have the privilege of saying, like, just do it, right? When there are real and valid concerns. So I want to not dismiss that and say that. But if that's not needing to step into your Leo rising, so like maybe say to the universe, help me figure out how to get beyond this. Help me find, because sometimes it's not about just like, if I say the affirmation, I move forward. Sometimes it's like, help me find this thing that's going to, and maybe that's what the energetic thing that happens that causes the ripple and that's just like, right, blows you out of the water. It just feels like ask the universe for assistance and getting past it. Because I don't know that I'm necessarily the person that's going to be like, oh, here's your thing. But it might be like through a catalyst through somebody else. I have the same fear of being seen or whatever, but I've recently been manifesting things differently and been able to envision things differently where I'm like able to envision somebody being like, oh my God, it's nice to meet you. Like I see you like, and I've never, ever, ever, ever done that before. And I think it's just little things like that where you start to practice in your little brain, getting used to it and getting comfortable with it. And also, I know you're worried about a lot of the people. I mean, I don't know, maybe it's voices from familiar people being critical. Maybe it's voices from scary strangers that are scary, quite frankly. I don't know. I mean, the people that I can say that are close to you, it's like they're not your audience. They're not your target audience. So fuck them. Who cares? And also, you're never going to look back on your deathbed and think, I'm so glad I was so concerned about everybody's opinions of me and everybody's like, I'm so glad I never ever did that. Like, you're going to be like, if you don't do this, you're going to be like, I wish I would have just gone out and done it. My first job ever was in a nursing home, and I talked to those old people and I was like, what were your hopes, dreams, and fears? Like, what did you learn in life? What did you, I always asked about love too. Like, how did you meet them? What was it like? Right. And of course, none of them were like, But it was interesting to just listen to their stories and hear about them and hear about how they did their journey. I was always trying to glean wisdom, figure out how to do this thing easier. So, I mean, I think it's valid when you are concerned, but I also feel like, because I don't want to dismiss those feelings, but I also feel like at some point it's shit or get off the pot, you know? You have a safety buffer being overseen, hinged, hateful strangers, and relatives, but they both cause you anxiety. So relatives aren't going to change, and they certainly aren't concerned about your happiness, and they're not living their lives for you. So stop living your life for them. Um, I've had to deal with a lot of the voices in my head of family members, like, who in one way or another made me feel like I wasn't entitled to be successful because somehow it was taking away from them. Um, and those would be my sisters, if you're wondering. Um, and other family members who just wanted me to know, like, you know, I just have a lot of unhealthy, you know, so do we all, but whatever. So it's just like learning to say, like, you know what, I cannot live this journey for them in the fear of what they're going to think, say, or do. Like, you know, it is what it is. All right. Mariana, do you want to go? Figure out what's transiting Leo, though, because that might help you push through it a little bit more. That might be where that struggle is coming from. My colleague Myrta was given some of my responsibilities recently. Can you give me a general reading about her? How will she handle the work? Will she do a better job than me? Um, I appreciate you as always. Okay. So the thing I feel about it, I feel like she'll do a good job. I don't, this isn't psychic. This is just reading it as being a, you know, knowing a little bit. It just, there's obviously a little bit of insecurity there. On your part, where you're like, will she do a better job than me? And then does that mean that I'm going to lose more work, or what does that mean to say about me? um, I don't feel like it's better. I just feel like it's, there might be a little bit of a difference to it, but it feels fine. And I don't feel like you have anything to worry about. And the other part about this is like, then let's do, I'm certain I have nothing to worry about with my job. I'm certain I do a really great job. Um, I'm certain everybody at my job loves me. I'm certain that everybody at my job sees that I'm valuable and worthy. I'm certain that everybody at my job respects me. It's like kind of like sending into that information, because remember that fear and anxiety is not intuition. That's your ego that's going like, hey, this kept you safe for a really long time, but it ends up hindering you now that you're kind of grown and moving through things. So it just feels like reminding that nervous Nelly mind, because our brain tells us a lot of crazy bullshit all the time. Reminding that, like, no, I got this, I'm good. I don't feel like they gave her some of your work because you're not competent or capable. I feel like they realized that it was an unfair workload. Do you have a younger boss? Is your boss a millennial? Hard to tell the way when my boss is a micromanager. So I asked about the micromanaging thing. He's around your age group. Okay. I just feel like oh, that's interesting. Um I asked, why is he micromanaging everything? And it feels like it's more, something happened to where he felt like he can't let go of that. So part of that is childhood, but I think part of that is something happened in a work situation before where he didn't oversee everything so much, and a big mistake happened. So it's like it's just like a trauma response basically. Um, I really don't feel like it's about you, and I feel like the more that you can just say like that behavior has nothing to do with me, it moves you through in an easier way. Like it helps you get through your day easier and do the work easier without feeling like it's a reflection of his questioning your competence, because it's not. It's really his own crappy coping mechanism. You shouldn't feel threatened by Marta. No, no, I don't think you should at all. And also remember, we create our own reality, right? So the more that you get worried about that and insecure about it, the more you're going to bring more of that in. The universe is going to go, oh, we're going to give you a reason to feel insecure. And it just feels like cool. Like she's good and I'm good too. We have our own different ways. We have our own strengths, and we could really work together and kick some butt. I'm certain that my boss values me. I'm certain. So start pulling that energy into it. I'm certain I'm valued. I'm certain that I'm respected. So it like punches up your affirmation a little bit more. Look, I 1,000% believe in affirmation work. I 1,000% believe in manifesting. And I don't think that it happens like where I'm like, if I visualize the perfect body that I just wake up the next morning. But I can tell you, since doing affirmations and since doing like the manifesting work where I'm looking at like I'm not tired anymore, like I don't really want to be tired anymore, so how do I fix that? Where it's like certain things will pop up and I'm like, oh, look at that. Like I find supplements and things that will help me attain like better blood sugar regulation, and you know, walking after I eat and doing other things, and then looking at like, okay, I need my iodine. I need, changing my B vitamins to methylated B vitamins. It's like all these things, kind of information starts to pop up when you put out there, like, this is the thing I want to achieve. And you don't feel like I have to do it this way. But also doing the affirmations, I'm honestly the heaviest I've ever been, except for when I was pregnant. And normally I would be really hard on my body. And I'm like, now it's more just about, from a health standpoint, it's like, okay, I know something's not right because I was having the hair fall and all that other stuff, but it's like, I don't hate my body. I don't hate myself. And I don't feel like I'm hideous and whatever, where in the past I would have. In the past, when I was like my smallest was a size 0, I wasn't happy with my body. Like, so I've started like shifting things and looking at like, okay, where is that coming from? Some of it's your diet and your nutrition can really change your mental. Like there is a definite connection between your mental health and your diet and your gut health. But also like the affirmations really help with reprogramming my neural pathways. So it just feels like working on that will be really, really beneficial for you. But I absolutely feel like his micromanagement absolutely has nothing to do with you and not being capable or good at your job. And so if you sort of shift the thing to be like, oh, he's like that, that's just his personality, like it's not about me, that's just who he is. And you start seeing her as the ally instead of the enemy, it'll be a much better situation for you. I feel like she's really nice too. I don't feel like she's underhanded or trying to be sneaky or anything like that. I do feel like you've worked with some people like that in the past, and so it's automatically sort of setting you up to be a little bit on guard, but you don't need to be. Just going to log in and make sure nobody else purchased any other readings. And if that's it, then we will part ways and say adieu. Oh, I want to give you guys the one other tip, but some of you didn't stay, so in case you'll have to rewatch it later. Um, okay. I answered Gia's. I think I answered everybody's. You're very welcome. So the last and final tip, I don't know if anybody's still here. The last and final tip I wanted to share with you was this technique I saw on TikTok where they talked about, great to see you too. Thank you. We don't have any huge plans. We probably won't watch fireworks. I have to say, well, we might watch them from our house if we can see any, but we don't usually go to big fireworks because, sensory issues. It's just loud. So we're having a like low key weekend. Anyway, what was I gonna say? Okay, so this 24-hour thing. So this woman was like, just ask the universe, like, universe, show me or give me a gift in the next 24 hours. And she did. I don't remember what she got, but I was like, okay, I'll manifest that, right? I'll see what happens. And my gift that I got, which was really nice, was, so yesterday I did this on Saturday, or did this on Friday night. Saturday morning, I got a text from one of my daughter's friends, and she was like, "Can she come over and play?" And so I was like, "Sure, no problem." Dropped her off, and then my other daughter was like, "Well, can I have a play date?" And I was like, "My house is a mess. We're not having a play date here." So I was like, we'll either go to the park or go to the pool, whichever one you want. And they're a little bit older, and they both know how to swim. So she was like, "Oh, let's go to the pool," because it was a hot day. And so I took them to the pool. My husband ended up coming too. And I got to sit at a table under a tree in the shade and read a book. And that's a gift. Anyway, so you guys have a wonderful week. Enjoy, if you celebrate, enjoy the 4th of July. If you don't celebrate, enjoy your week. And I will see you next week. Have a good one.